In this video, we'll be covering how to actually calculate descriptive statistics in R. To give us some data to work with, we have a simulated data set based on a hypothetical experiment looking at two different teaching methods. The data set has ID numbers for individual participants, whether these participants had the old teaching method or the new teaching method, the biological sex of the participant, be it male or female, their score on a pretest, and then their score on a post-test. Now, to go over calculating these descriptive statistics, we're actually going to do it in a script. The idea being that we can save this code and rerun it again and again and again and again. Now, something that I like to use to facilitate rerunning the code on multiple different variables, one after the other, is something that I call a placeholder variable. So in this case, it's just an R object, let's call it pH, that we're going to set equal to some data that we might actually like the descriptive statistics for. So in this case, we're actually going to say, okay, hey, let's look at the descriptive statistics for the pretest. Then I create some other R object that allows me to save the descriptive statistics as I calculate them. So in this case, it's going to be the descriptives of the placeholder variable, in which case I'm actually going to save all the descriptive statistics that I might want to look at for this variable in here. So for instance, I might want to look at the mean of a variable, median of a variable, standard deviation of said variable. Now, I typically want to look at the range and interquartile range as well. I'm not aware of a good sort of intuitive function that's already built in that lets you do this. However, ultimately the range is just the maximum value in your data set minus your minimum value in the data set. And the interquartile range is really just the 75th quantile of your data set with the 25th quantile subtracted out of it. That's right. Run all the code first. So if you wanted to look at what this will give us, we can actually see that it's saving that mean of the data set, the median of the data set, the standard deviation, the overall range, and then the interquartile range. Now, something that would be nice would be to actually have names telling us what each of these individual variables actually are. Fortunately, we can do that with the names function, where we just specify as the first argument that our object we actually want to create names for, and then we specify the names. In this case, I'm going to use the APA abbreviations wherever possible. So mean, median, standard deviation, range, and interquartile range. Now, if we actually come here and print out the descriptives pH again, we now have those names, the mean, the median, the standard deviation, the range, and the interquartile range. Now, this is really just another placeholder variable right here. What we'd really like to be able to do is run descriptive statistics on multiple variables and save those descriptive statistics that we calculate to different R objects, which we can do pretty simply. So if we want pretest descriptives as the name, all we have to do is then set that to descriptives pH, and then we can print out those pretest descriptives, and you can see here that we have them saved right here. Now let's say we wanted to turn around and run these now for the post-test variable, in which case all we need to do is change what our placeholder variable is set up as. So now we want the post-test score, rerun that, rerun that, rerun this, and now we can just rename these variables down here. And now we have the descriptive statistics for the post tests saved right here, and we can see them right here as well. So then I can save this script, and then whenever I want descriptive statistics calculated for any variable, be it tomorrow or 10 minutes from now, all I have to do is use this simple little script.